Mike Holly is the owner and operator of Latitude Blue, a Jimmy Buffett-inspired restaurant on the beach in Tamarindo. In this interview, he shares his experience living in Tamarindo, as well as information about owning and running a restaurant business in Costa Rica.
You know, I lived in Toledo for 40-some years, and if you've ever been to Toledo, it's a nice place to live, but you don't really necessarily go there on purpose. So if you're not born there, you don't necessarily want to go there, and it's cold weather. It's not the nicest year-round. So my inspiration from the time I was old enough to figure it out is I wanted to get out of Toledo somewhere, and I was always shooting for Miami, and it wound up going a little further south than that. I always had in my mind's eye something that was on the beach that I would want to be at if I went on vacation. So that's what I was really looking for. And traveled all around the Caribbean, looked at a lot of different places, and that was really my main focus. But once I came here on vacation in Costa Rica once, came into this particular restaurant, and I thought, wow, this kind of looks like the place I would really like to have if it was ever for sale. Well, it wasn't at the time, so kept it in the back of my mind, went away, came back 4 years later, and it was for sale. I thought, okay, this is the time I got to do it, because I'm not going to do it when I'm 75 or 80 years old, so I better do it now or I'm never going to do it. You know, when I first got to Tamarindo, it was very impressive to me because there's a lot of opportunity for activities right on the beach. Where a lot of cities, when you go to them in the tropics, they're really not. There's big, massive hotels on the beach, but not a lot of activities on the beach. And I kind of see this as a Key West maybe 30 or 40 years ago is the way I see it now. There's a lot of stuff to do here, and it's all right on the beach. So that was really one of the things that interested me about Tamarindo. In this location, I have never, in any of my travels, seen where you have a high tide that comes almost up to the restaurant and a low tide that is as far as you can walk out. And it's a very interesting change as it happens, and it really makes it a cool dynamic when you're sitting here eating, or you come back and forth throughout the day and see how things change throughout the day. It also gives you the opportunity to see where to and where not to surf, because you can find the rocks at low tide. Well, my vision for this restaurant has always been, even when it was only in my mind's eye and I never even owned it or never knew it even existed here in Tamarindo, was that it would be the destination location when people came to town. I didn't want to just run another restaurant that happened to sell fish and steak right next to 10 others that do the same thing. So everything I've done here always was with the intention of it being different and an experience for people when they come here, and once they've been here to go back home and say, hey, if you go to Tamarindo, that's the place you got to go. If they're here for 1 week, what can I do to make that the best experience they can have when they come to town? And so we have fire dancers every night at 7:45. We have beachfront dining right on the ocean. We have live entertainment several nights a week. And it again is to give you the feeling that that's the place you want to go back to at least one more time when you come here. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. The first couple years it has happened, it still happens every other day now. But through all that, I was able to progress the restaurant and turn it into something that I had in my vision. And now that when I go out on the beach and we're full, we have 200 or 300 people in the restaurant, and we have fire dancers here, and Jimmy Buffett's playing in the background. It makes it feel all worthwhile. About 60 or 70 years ago, a guy named Herman Wouk wrote a book called Don't Stop the Carnival. And it was about a guy who lived up north and quit his job after he hit his midlife crisis and went to the tropics and started a hotel. And that is the story of my life right now. And it sounds like a great idea. The book sounded like a great idea, and everything was one adventure after another throughout the whole book. And I've literally lived that entire book out ever since I've been here.
These premium videos are available on Amazon Prime. The links are in the description below.
Buying a restaurant in Costa Rica was not really that difficult. It was fairly simple, actually fairly similar to what I might have experienced in the United States in some similar situation, I would say. Yeah, the restaurant was already up and running. It didn't look anything like it looks right now, and I've made massive changes to it. I think if you were here 5 years ago, you would not recognize it today. But the fact that it was already up and running gave me a huge advantage because at least all the permits and employees and infrastructure was in place. Not exactly the way that I wanted it, but at least it was here, and then I could modify it from where I started. It is definitely interesting trying to obtain the things that you need to run a business here. Some things are at hand. You can certainly get the supplies for a restaurant, for example. The food supplies are fairly easy to come about, but at the same time, if you need a TV or a DVR, it's not necessarily the easiest thing that to come up with, and at times I find it's easier to just pay an extra 25-35% and have it shipped by Amazon down here. I would say probably the biggest thing that you need to be aware of when you come to Costa Rica to run a business is the cultural differences. The laws, there are a lot of laws that are very similar to the United States and work in the same vein as that, but I think the cultural differences are probably the things you need to be most prepared for and aware of before you come into it. There are certain laws that are put in place here. They become rights for the employees, and so given that they know what their rights are, obviously, which are fine, you need to be able to deal with that and understand that they're going to be working under those laws and under those rights and expecting that from you as an employer. There is a different mindset of most employees, and it's not bad, it's just different, and you have to be able to relate to that and work with it because you're not going to get the same results that you might get in North America, for example. Probably the best part about owning a business in Costa Rica, at least for me, is that I get to work on the beach. Yeah, the way the fire dancers became an integral part of our restaurant was simply probably the first month or so that I was here. A lot of local artists just come up and down the beach and ask if they can perform for tips in the restaurant. And again, target market in this restaurant is me because I'm the tourist. And so I'm watching them. I let them come in and play for tips, and I watched them for a few days, and I said, okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll pay you to be here every night, same time, same place. We've had a relationship now for 3 years, and it's been great for them and for us. This is the only place in Tamarindo that has a fire show every single night. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to become known as the place to be every night for something like that. Yeah, I think Costa Rica right now is probably on the verge of exploding, is what I see. And I always remember the quote from Wayne Gretzky is he wanted to be where the puck is going, not where the puck was. And that was the reason I came here several years ago, is because I saw that the opportunity was there. Versus nothing wrong with the Caribbean, I still love it, but it's pretty much been exploited now, and it doesn't feel like Costa Rica has quite hit that explosion yet, but I can see it coming bit by bit and more so every year. I've seen a lot of people get by running businesses here and not speaking Spanish, so it is definitely possible. I probably would not recommend it though, for various reasons, some of them including the fact that you can relate to your employees better if you can speak Spanish, and and vendors and whoever else you might be working with, so it definitely makes it significantly easier if you can speak Spanish. But at the same time, a lot of people in Costa Rica now speak English. It's almost like a dual language country right now. I can say though, when I came down, I had several years of Spanish in college, and it gave me a good basis for small words and small sentences, but nothing significant. But once I went into the kitchen and worked with my chef and my staff, who nobody speaks English in the kitchen, they all speak Spanish only. Once you repeat the same word like bacon, tocineta, 25-30 times in a week, you get that word down. And so I came out of the kitchen speaking Spanish. When we came down, we bought a house. We were all in. Not that we were going to move here permanently for 12 months out of the year, but we bought a home to be all in with the restaurant and the house, and we loved it. It was very, very nice. We got to work on it and started remodeling some things, and it became a second or third or fourth job, depending on how you want to look at it. And it got to the point where after 2 years, I said, you know what, I'm not making progress going forward on the house. We're going backwards because there was so much to do to maintain. So we just made the decision to sell the house and in the short run rent a condo, and we're looking to buy one just because a condo is so much easier than a house. You would think, coming from North America where seasons change and it destroys things around your house inside and out, that it would be easier if the temperature was the same all the year, and that's not true. It is probably worse when it's 90 degrees all year long. And I love the 90-degree part, but it's not so good on a house. So I think if you just own the inside of 4 walls, that's probably a better way to go, for me at least. There are a lot of long-term rental options down here, so it's very easy to rent something and just ease yourself into it rather than having to buy something right up front. As far as the cost of living goes, it could vary widely, and it really depends on where you live. If you're living right on the beach, you're going to be paying more, because it's not only the cost of living at that location on the beach, but everything surrounding that location on the beach is going to be more expensive. On the other hand, you can easily go 3, 5, 10 miles inland, and it would be significantly less expensive than living in the United States. The last 3 or 4 years that I've been down here have been the best winters of my life, because I haven't experienced them. It's been 90 degrees every day. And the one thing I didn't realize about Costa Rica, and literally until we got here, was that from November to May, it is literally 90 degrees and sunny every day. It never rains. It got cloudy a couple times a year, and that kind of scared me for a second. I thought maybe it was going to rain. It never did. And by far, that is much better than Ohio or the Midwest in the United States. We had no idea it was going to be as nice all the time as it really is here. It's kind of a misnomer. Somebody dubbed it the rainy season, I don't know, 20 or 30 years ago, I guess. And it does rain during those times, but it's more or less similar to the Caribbean. Or if you hear about rain in the Caribbean, you're not going to say, oh my gosh, I'm not going because it's going to rain there, because you know the sun's still going to come out. It still comes out here during the rainy season, but at the same time, when it rains, it really rains. As hard as it is every day, when I work 8 hours in the office, and then another 4 hours on the beach or in the kitchen helping the staff make sure things go well, I always have to remind myself that very, very few people ever get the opportunity to do that, and I appreciate it every single day I'm here.
Please visit our best travel gear page on the livingoverseas.tv website. The link is in the description below. When you buy through our link, we may receive a small affiliate commission. There is no added cost for you, and it helps support our channel so that we can keep bringing you free videos. Please remember to subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified when the next video is up. And leave a comment. It helps support our channel so we can keep bringing you videos like this.